Nigel Farage is back in the spotlight with an incendiary tirade against what he calls Britain's exploding population. In a blistering segment on GB News, the Reform Party leader took direct aim at mass migration, declaring it's not just a numbers game, but a full-blown crisis that has made every Briton poorer. Farage's words weren't just a critique of current policy, they were an outright condemnation of what he sees as systemic failure by both Labour and the Conservatives. Farage's sharpest attacks were reserved for Keir Starmer, the Labour leader who held a high-profile press conference earlier that day to unveil Labour's new immigration reforms. But Farage wasn't convinced, accusing Starmer of offering hollow promises while doing little to address the real issues. With tensions over immigration at an all-time high, Farage's comments have triggered a political firestorm, and we've got the clip of his most explosive remarks right here.
And for Keir Starmer to come out this afternoon with a live press conference to say, we're going to sort the problem out, when clearly he has no intention to do so, makes you realise that actually the biggest division in this country between Westminster and ordinary folk is on the exploding population. And for Jonathan Portes to say, it's not about numbers, it is about numbers. And this massive increase in population has also made us all poorer too.
Let's play devil's advocate, because I've got to say, Nigel, I don't share the optimism of the former guest there. He thinks it's definitely going to come down. That's a given. But let's just indulge that theory for a second, because one of the key tenets, one of the core tenets of Reform UK is about population management, border security, immigration control. What about then if we fast forward to 5 years' time and miraculously, somehow, Keir Starmer has managed to sort it all out. We've got minuscule net migration. Where does that leave Reform UK?
He has no intention of doing so. And look, he told us on illegal migration that fewer people would be in hotels, and he boasted that planes were taking illegal immigrants out of the country. Today's figures showed the cost of asylum went up 36% last year, 36% to 5.38 billion, and that doesn't even count the cost of the Manston Processing Centre or the aeroplanes or boats in the Channel every day. And returns, which normally from Q2 to Q3 go up because more people come during the southern months and more people get deported, returns went down. So already Starmer is breaking the promises that he made.
Nigel Farage's critique didn't just stop at Starmer. He painted a grim picture of life in Britain today, describing how mass migration has left the country reeling. If you can't get a GP appointment, if your child can't get a place in a local school, if you're stuck in traffic every day, this is the reality of the population explosion, Farage said. His argument was simple but pointed. Mass migration is stretching public services to breaking point, creating a crisis that affects every Briton. Farage also took aim at the Conservatives, accusing them of paving the way for this crisis through what he called a deliberate liberalisation of immigration policies. Global Britain, that was their slogan, Farage scoffed. It wasn't just a policy, it was a betrayal of the British people, designed to turn this country into an open borders experiment. But it was Keir Starmer's press conference that truly set Farage off. The Labour leader, speaking from Downing Street, outlined a series of reforms aimed at tackling migration, including changes to the points-based system and a landmark security agreement with Iraq to address small boat crossings. Starmer promised to crack down on visa abuse, ensure employers train British workers, and ban companies from hiring overseas staff if they flouted the rules. Starmer framed his proposals as a direct response to what he called the Conservatives' failure to manage immigration. "This isn't just bad policy," Starmer said. "This is a deliberate act of negligence. They refuse to do the hard yards, on skills, on welfare reform, on giving our young people opportunities, and now the country is paying the price." But Farage dismissed Starmer's words as empty rhetoric, accusing him of being part of the problem. Keir Starmer can hold all the press conferences he wants, but the truth is, Labour has no intention of solving this crisis, Farage declared. They thrive on this chaos, and anyone who believes otherwise is fooling themselves. The clash between Farage and Starmer isn't just a war of words, it's a reflection of the growing divide in British politics over how to address the immigration crisis. On one side, Farage and his supporters argue that the sheer scale of migration is unsustainable, pointing to record-high net migration figures of 906,000 in 2023. On the other side, Starmer insists the issue isn't just about numbers, but about managing migration in a way that benefits the economy and society. Starmer's press conference was an attempt to shift the narrative, but it also exposed rifts within his own party. Scottish Labour MSPs have already rebelled against Starmer over another contentious issue, the means testing of the winter fuel payment. 2 MSPs joined forces with the SNP in a Holyrood vote calling on Starmer to reverse the decision, which has been criticised as a blow to pensioners struggling with rising energy costs. The revolt is a stark reminder of the challenges Starmer faces as he tries to unite his party while tackling a range of complex issues. Farage seized on the internal divisions within Labour, using them to bolster his argument that neither major party is equipped to handle the challenges facing Britain. Labour can't even get their own house in order, let alone fix the immigration crisis, Farage said. And the Tories? They've admitted they got it wrong, but an apology doesn't undo the damage they've done. The political fallout from Farage's comments has been swift and far-reaching. Reform Party supporters have praised his unfiltered honesty, while critics accuse him of fear-mongering and stoking division. On social media, the immigration debate has taken centre stage, with hashtags like "You Farage speaks truth" and "You Starmer fail" dominating the conversation. But it's not just the public that's paying attention. Westminster is buzzing with speculation about what this means for the next general election. Labour strategists are reportedly scrambling to shore up support, knowing that immigration is a key issue for many voters. Meanwhile, the Conservatives are trying to shift the narrative, with Tory leader Kemi Badenoch admitting her party got immigration wrong, but insisting they're committed to making things right. Farage, however, remains unsatisfied. He argues that both Labour and the Conservatives are fundamentally out of touch with ordinary Britons. The biggest division in this country isn't about left or right, it's about Westminster versus the rest of us, Farage said. And when it comes to immigration, they've all failed us. The stakes couldn't be higher as the immigration debate continues to dominate headlines. With public services under strain, housing in short supply and wages stagnating, voters are demanding answers. Farage's blunt rhetoric has resonated with many, but critics warn that his approach risks deepening divisions and oversimplifying a complex issue. As the political drama unfolds, one thing is clear. Immigration is set to be a defining issue in the next election. Whether it's Farage's call for drastic action, Starmer's promises of reform, or the Conservatives' attempts to rewrite their legacy, the battle lines have been drawn. And with tensions running high, the question remains, who will the British public trust to solve this crisis? If you're as fired up as we are about the immigration crisis and the political chaos unfolding before our eyes, hit that subscribe button and give this video a like. We're bringing you every scandal, every twist, and every explosive moment in British politics. Don't miss out. Stay tuned for more updates.